Okay, here you go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are here for the 5th Digital Roundtable of Vardia. Thank you, Banu, Çiçek, Tülü, for accepting our invitation and joining us. I would like to introduce her first. Banu Çiçek Tülü is a researcher and urban designer from Southeast Turkey, based in Berlin. She held her BA from Urban and Regional Planning at Yıldız Technical University, Istanbul. She gained her MA degree first in Urban Design, Art, City and Society at University of Barcelona. Secondly, in a joint program called Museum Studies and Critical Theory, the Independent Studies Program by Museum of Contemporary Art Barcelona, Autonomous University of Barcelona. For the past years, she has been working in interdisciplinary projects in many scales by developing editorial, curatorial, artistic, and academic methodologies. Her academic and artistic research interests include urban design theory, public space and radical democracy, urban commons, sound as a participatory tool, acoustic ecology, and sustainable urban space. She is currently a PhD candidate at Fine Arts Faculty, Hamburg, holding a Heinrich Böll Foundation scholarship. Since April 2018, she has a co-teaching position at Humboldt University, Berlin on urban activism. We are looking forward to hear your presentation.
Thank you. Yes, teşekkürler. Thank you very much for the invitation, primarily Kerem and all the other co-creators. And the other thanks goes from my side to İKSV, who is generously supported Vardia. I was in Venice during the preview, and I must say the Pavilion of Turkey was one of my favorites. And I will try to explain why throughout our session. Shortly about myself, I'm a PhD candidate at an art school with a technical university background. My both supervisors are architects and designers, Frederick von Boris and Jesko Fieser. I suggest you to follow them if you are interested on interdisciplinary research methods on architecture and socially engaged design. Being in an art school is different because the main focus is in your artwork rather than your scientific thesis. So it pushes you to interdisciplinary research. I briefly talk about my dissertation. So my critique was, after finishing my MA programs and so on, that we urban designers and planners are always focusing on the visual aspects of urban space in order to create the most beautiful places. And we don't care much about the other elements, such sound. So I work on different perceptions of sound, not just sound as noise, and in order to do that, I am creating a handbook for designers, which proposes 6 to 10 methods how they could include sound into their design processes, or how can sound actually be used as participatory tool in design. I guess one of the big reasons why I like Vardia is that how they create an open space, a free space, with using very simple material, creating that hubs and separating them between each other using light and sound. So again, congratulations, all the team. And now, as I got the invitation, I will now try to answer the main questions of Vardia. The first questions I would like to answer is that why does the Biennale exist? I never participated in a big Biennale like Venice as a creator or as an artist. I created several small shows, but I'm a good visitor of Biennales. I mean, I visit most when I find the time and opportunity. I mostly write reviews about them. However, after years, one of my very collaborative projects that I took part was like a Biennale. I really realized that later. As students and assistant professors of Yıldız Technical University Architecture Faculty in 2018 when I was doing my bachelor. We started to organize lecture and workshop series called Kayıt Dışı. I will also share my screen right now. Let's see if we can see. I guess you can see. Okay. Exactly. So we started to organize Kayıt Dışı. It was a lecture and workshop series, and we did this during the registration period in February. So the registration week was kind of an off week where you don't have to classes to attend or drawings to struggle. So we gave that name, we took this change and we gave that name Kayıt Dışı, off the record. And we choose a main theme for each edition. We invited like people from different disciplines and that works in different disciplines and all over the Turkey, not just from Istanbul. And we were following the architectural biennales in that time, or big architectural events that was happening outside of Turkey. What we did, it was kind of a first big event on architectural in Turkey. And why we did that? Because we needed a new platform to talk freely the issues on architectural education or urban problems. We got really good support from all channels. We kind of created our own biennale. We created dialogue between academy, activists, researchers, students, even mainstream institutions like municipality, and if I can say that, Chamber of Architects. So if we look Vardia, you see that it is in the same direction. It creates a platform, invites a variety of professionals and students to talk, to discuss and self-reflect on various themes with its workshops and public program. So my answer into this question: we need new platforms, meeting points, and encounters. This is why Biennale exists. So I can show some of the other visuals from Kayıt Dışı. And I would come to the other question: for whom does the Biennale exist? My direct answer would be to everyone or for a wide range of audience. But it is not an easy job to include everyone. However, I have hope on that, and there are a lot of tools to do that. And why I am directly thinking about the audience is that let me explain with the example. Last year, me, Yatakan, one of the other co-curator of Vardia, and the other three friends of us, we applied to an exhibition open call at NGBK Berlin, which is a grassroots organization. You apply, the projects are voted by members in a public general assembly. So it is a pretty democratic system. Well, we proposed to exhibit spatial practices from Turkey with NGOs, initiatives, and student groups. We would organize different events, and it wouldn't be just an exhibition. In the General Assembly, in the public discussion, there was a critical question. Even we came with a performative proposal, as we were mostly architects and designers. Someone asked what they're gonna see in the exhibition, because they wanted to make sure or be sure that there won't be a bunch of models and plans which they won't understand, as they are not having the architectural education. So we did not select it, but there were of course other reasons. But since then, I am really stuck with these questions to how we gonna deal with this language problem. And I'm thinking that since then, architecture and design should find different ways of presentation and communication in order to include everyone. So I have a good example here. Wohnungsfrage or housing question organized by HKW Berlin, Haus der Kulturen der Welt. It was an exhibition on housing issue in 2015. They had the exhibition and public program, as well as a publication series and academy, where I also participated. They were really good tools to discuss the issue, but the other tool, what they created was a collaboration, different collaborations between NGOs and initiatives that work on housing, rent increase, and replacement of tenants, and architectural offices that they also work on social housing and urban issues from different parts of the world. So you can check the projects. They're all online. And I think they are really good examples on this creating a new platform idea. They create simple structures and as a meeting points that everybody could participate and understand each other, because there were neither professional nor academic language in it. It was a space where everybody could discuss, join, and talk about a daily problem, such big problem like housing. So my point is that here, like, architects and designers, I guess, should push the limits and get out of their comfort zone to create a common language. Sometimes we miss that. There are many good examples, and depending on my knowledge, I would say that the future is in collaboration, collaborative work, interdisciplinary research, and creating commons, which I guess Vardia is doing perfectly, online and offline. So I can go back to you. I don't have more. Let me see. Screen share. No. Okay, I can't go. Yeah, cool. So, and the last, but I guess the not least question, what does Biennale do? I think the exhibition making is not just presenting objects anymore. This is neither what public wants nor artist or creator wants anymore. As I mentioned, we need new platforms and collaborations. Individualism is not working in any part of our professions or relationships, if you will. In my point of view, it comes because of a political issues. So what Biennale does or should do is not changing the system, but trying to change the discourse, I would say. So for this reason, I prepared a manifesto, which is an old, good, autonomous tool for political action. So I'll read. 1. A Biennale should work on contemporary issues in our world, bearing in mind the past, the present, and the future. 2. A Biennale should be social and inclusive, open to different backgrounds, different migrant groups, as well as different decisions, choices, and disadvantaged population. 3. A Biennale should be critical and create a debate rather than trying to find an answer, because as we all know, there is not just one answer. 4. A Biennale should be self-reflective in different geographies and territories in the world. 5. A Biennale should be political and should try to change the political discourse. So I just wanted to put in phrases so we can talk about, but this is my contribution. I'm looking forward to questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Banu. It was really interesting to hear you addressing the questions by sharing your experiences in the exhibitions and the other ways of architecture education, if I might say.
Yeah.
And yeah, also the manifesto is really intriguing and triggering. So yeah, I would like to turn to
find another tool in sake of the time, you know. I could talk like more than 15 minutes, but I guess it worked.
No, yeah. It was really inspiring. So I would like to turn to the pavilion now to
Yes, sure.
see if we have some questions.
Thank you. We have a question, I guess.
Hi, thank you so much for the presentation. I was intrigued by your manifesto, especially the parts about how a biennale should be inclusive and political. And I was wondering your thoughts on the Venice Biennale today, and to what extent is the Biennale inclusive and or political, in your opinion?
I saw Arsenale in Giardini and several other actually exhibitions outside of the main venues. Of course, I mean, not all of them like strongly political or inclusive, but what I went to Biennale with the idea of, wow, it's, I guess, since 2007 is the second woman creator in Venice Biennale. I mean, it's not a progressive thing, I guess, but it's still, it was really, for me, okay, I will see something different, hopefully. And actually, I did. I mean, you could see this difference when I compared the other two Venice Architectural Biennale that I visited. It's depending on every country and the situation. I think the creators choose really well the free space. So like all countries, all other exhibitions can reflect on, and of course the point of view is different because it's a huge team. So I'm about the inclusivity. Of course, I mean, to going and visiting Venice is your own choice, right? I mean, if you have the time, money, and the opportunity, you can do that. But look, I mean, it's I guess not only the Vardia or Pavilion of Turkey is doing. They are trying to include like open calls that they invite other students that they might doesn't have this opportunities. I found it really interesting. But I see that as the topic, free space, I guess it's quite political itself.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for your answer.
If it's possible, I want to ask something too.
Yes, sure.
By the way, for the first question, I guess we can claim that the space is social and social is political anyway. So maybe avoiding that would be blindfulness, because if you have a society inside it, so you can't claim that there's no politic actions, I guess. And my question is, you said the architecture language is specifically directed to the architect world, so I guess. About the drawings, we always work on two-dimensional drawings, like plan, section, and side plan, and I guess it doesn't mean much to everyone. But what about the? I don't know. Anything comes to your mind how it will be open for everyone without using axonometry? I mean, maybe axonometry can be a good example, but without any.
Or I mean, the contemporary answer, I guess, is the technology that you can add technology rendering, 3D systems, artificial intelligence to your work. And I guess architectural design should be really more onto that to kind of in order to create this language, because then it's more visual, then it's more, or as I am trying to do, like kind of taking care of other elements like sound, light, smell. So I guess there are tools. I mean, it's also, I never say like, oh, nobody is doing it. There are really good works in world, like people like getting more and more aware of that, and I'm happy with. So I guess my answer to your question is more on like technology. That would help.
Maybe just one thing is rendering is a little bit manipulating everyone. Green gardens and birds flying away. So maybe we will pass through this.
Yeah. Not
Thank you for
like
answering my
style rendering I was talking, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it. Okay, we have one.
We have another question.
Yeah, please.
Try it again.
No? Okay. I was wondering, now that the speech came on the topic of how to represent things differently than the usual way, and you mentioned again the acoustical perception. I was wondering if you could sketch out roughly how this could work, like how the acoustical character of a space could be representative.
Mm-hmm.
If this is possible to quickly explain.
I try to explain this in my dissertation. For example, as I said, I am not taking sound as noise, because I mean, since years, like noise is the element that people try to or the designers or World Health Organization dealt with, but I think sound is not just about noise. Sound is about your perception or someone's audible abilities. I can give you an example, like, of course, like, it's so lame example. Okay, don't do it kindergarten, a park next to the senior house. No, this is so obvious. But what about like the total silence? Imagine that you are in a city that you don't really know. In the middle of the night, there is no sound at all. I mean, some, but you feel uncomfortable with that. So I'm, for example, in my dissertation, I'm trying to bring this kind of discourse also onto table, like what is the user's perception on sound. So and I did field research in order to analyze this parts of the this perceptions or this sensory applications in urban space. So I would this is what I was trying to say, not just measurements, like technical measurements, but also personal choices and personal senses.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much, Banu. And
thank you for invitation again, and hope I'm sure you are having a lot of fun and making a lot of good things, and I'm really looking for the results, and use sound in your results.
We will.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Bye.
Bye.
good evening.